This dog had a habit of looking into a storm drain every day. People were shocked when the drain was finally opened and they saw what was inside. Stray dogs are common in many countries, but this particular dog's behavior fascinated people. In Turkey, there was a shaggy and dirty stray pup that would regularly walk down the street, scavenging for food and water. On a normal day, the dog happily trotted down the road, wagging its tail at anyone who noticed it. Despite being a street dog, it was friendly and enjoyed receiving pets from passers-by. One day, while walking down a particular street, the dog caught a delicious smell. It followed its nose and found itself in front of a butcher's shop, peering through the window. The dog watched as customers purchased large cuts of meat, which made it realize how hungry it was, causing its stomach to growl loudly. A young woman named Annie had just finished buying a couple of large steaks and was leaving the shop when she heard the growl and whimper. She turned around and saw the stray dog with sad eyes, clearly indicating hunger. Feeling sorry for the hungry dog, Annie looked down at the steaks in her hands and decided to do something. She returned to the butcher and requested any cut-offs or bones that he wouldn't sell. The butcher happily obliged, and Annie walked back outside, searching for the stray dog. She found him watching from a distance, so she crouched down and offered him the bone. At first, the dog was cautious, but as Annie persisted, it gradually gained trust and wagged its tail, accepting the bone. Surprisingly, instead of eating it immediately, the dog picked up the bone and walked away as if it had somewhere to be. The next day, Annie encountered the same stray dog again. This time, it seemed to be waiting for her, happily bounding up to her with a wagging tail. Annie was pleased with the dog's excitement and pampered it before she had to leave. However, she made sure to buy the dog some sausages from a nearby shop. Again, the dog didn't eat the sausages right away, but walked off. Annie was intrigued by the dog's behavior, but couldn't follow it due to her schedule. On the third day, Annie found the stray dog once more, and this time it appeared as though the dog was expecting her. Annie had started carrying treats in her bag, hoping to offer them to the poor stray. When she approached the dog, she gave it the treats, and when it turned and walked away, Annie decided to follow. They arrived at a busy street where the shaggy dog approached a storm drain, sat down next to it, and peered inside. The dog dropped one of the treats Annie had given it into the drain before eating its own treat. Annie was perplexed by the dog's behavior, but continued to observe. For several days, whenever Annie brought treats, the dog would drop half of the food into the drain before consuming its share. Curiosity got the better of Annie, and she decided to investigate the drain herself. To her surprise, she discovered something extraordinary. Annie peered into the drain and gasped at what she saw. She immediately called the fire department for help. When a couple of firemen arrived, the stray dog growled at them, causing them to hesitate. Annie reassured the dog and offered it a treat, allowing the firemen to proceed with opening the storm drain. A crowd had gathered around, curious about the commotion. After some tense moments, the firemen revealed what had captivated the stray dog's attention. In one of their arms, they held a tiny kitten. To everyone's astonishment, the firemen went back into the storm drain 4 more times, each time emerging with another kitten in their arms. Annie was amazed by this unexpected discovery. She had seen something in the drain when she looked earlier, but she never expected to find 5 adorable and helpless kittens trapped inside. The stray dog, filled with excitement, wagged its tail and sniffed at the kittens. Annie approached the firemen, inquiring about how such young kittens ended up in that predicament. The firemen speculated that they were likely swept into the drain during a heavy rain, but had managed to survive thanks to the stray dog's act of sharing food with them every day. Deeply moved by the dog's selflessness, Annie made a decision. She offered to take the kittens home with her, intending to care for them until they were ready to be adopted. The firemen agreed, and Annie carried the kittens, grateful for the opportunity to provide them a safe and loving environment. Feel free to share your thoughts on this amazing tale in the comments below, and remember to like and subscribe to stay updated with more inspiring stories.